It's time! It's time!
Uh-oh. Again.
How's Barks?
You want to get sued?
So yeah, Hal Sparks is back, y'all.
I'm Art,
I'm Bobby.
the host of Where Are They Now? Now let's get back to the Hal Sparks radio program, mega worldwide.
Hey, listen.
Hey, John, have you noticed there seems to be an odd trend among Republicans complaining about drugs and contraband and illegal immigrants being seized as they come across the border as a sign that the border is open. This seems to be a curious refrain over and over and over again. The GOP
This
tweeted,
is like having no guns at the January 6th, yet gun arrests.
yes, exactly. This is 1,101 pounds of deadly fentanyl and 10,528 pounds of methamphetamine were seized at the southern border in May alone. Joe Biden is allowing drugs to continue to pour through our southern border because of his open border policies. Huh? This is one of the most bizarre attacks, and they do it all the time. Look how much stuff was seized at the border. I guess the inference is supposed to be if we're seizing this much, imagine how much is getting through. The assumption is that more gets through than gets seized, and therefore basically anytime a Republican, there's a lot seized at the border. Like, look what we caught. The Sheriff Joe types on the Republican side will brag in front of a table of all the stuff that they've caught. None of them saying our border must be wide open. Look what my dumbass was able to find. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right. And what does that
Not
say
how that
about
works.
and the decrying of the CBP, and their capabilities and the idea that somehow that after Trump left, the Customs and Border Patrol just lost their mojo. They just decided to let stuff go.
Remember the good old days?
Like there were fewer people hired there. It's just, it's an odd thing. But this is a constant and never-ending aspect of their argument that has gone on for, let's see. And of course, when individuals, there's a lot of overlap too. So the same shipment will be decried by the same people as a different shipment or an example of more stuff coming through. So, they'll start doing what I would call Twitter math in their head, where 101 pounds were seized. Next thing you know, it's 2,000 pounds because they heard this about 1,000 pounds and somebody else posted about 1,000 pounds. That's 2,000 pounds. And that's indicative, again, undermining their case, but at the same time, this dunk is the most confusing dunk out there currently.
I don't get it.
It goes right up there with continuing to insist that there were no arms at the Capitol. Besides the fact that guns aren't the only kind of arms. You can arm yourself with a bat and pepper spray. You can arm yourself with a sharpened flagpole. You can arm yourself with a knife. Arms are not simply guns. But there were also guns and knives and sharpened flagpoles and guys with bats and bear spray. This kind of, I guess the only assumption has to be that they're just going to assume their voters are dumb and don't look past Tucker Carlson. And as long as they don't, they feel safe and secure in saying whatever the hell they want. As long as you don't look past it. And believe me, the news gets a lot of stuff wrong, but I would call it organically wrong. Either a flowing groupthink where people aren't checking on something, but not nefarious. And, just kind of like they're off and this, a narrative starts floating. But this is wholly different. This is an attack point they choose out to turn into something. This seizure, instead of saying, Greg Abbott's Operation Lone Star did a great job today seizing this fentanyl, and seizing this meth. Instead, they're going, we seized all this stuff, and it's Biden's fault that it's even here. Which, again, I'm not sure why he's considering Don Jr.'s habits, why Biden is the reason why drug sales are up, which they aren't. But that storyline, and I guess there's a bunch of this going around, and the Jan 6ers, especially when you talk about them taking something that's either perfunctory, normal, or just a positive sign even of cops or CBP or Border Patrol or any of these guys doing their job, and then try to turn it into a negative like that. One of the Jan 6 Patriot Front guys who was arrested said that when he was incarcerated, when they took him in, they took away his clothes, they took away his shoes. The quote is, "They didn't give us shoes. We were barefoot, but still in uniform in cells. It took them 12 hours before even beginning the booking process. Camera, digital devices, money was seized with no recourse." Yeah, you don't get to take cameras and money and phones into your cell. If you're that's what arrested is. Right? Like, and there's a tremendous amount of this where, Peter Navarro, they put him in leg shackles and whatever. In this particular jail, that's how everybody gets treated. But somehow Navarro, because he was in Trump's cabinet, he should get special. I'm sorry. My cat is actually got his claw stuck in a pillow and is having a small nightmare right now. He's Chips. He's trapped. Hold on. Check in with the chat. I've got to save a cat. 1 second.
Oh my goodness. Poor Chip. Chip, I don't think we were live earlier when Chip made a little, it was because of me. He made a little cameo.
Yeah.
But he is out and about, and he's a chunky boy now.
He's a
big boned.
All right. You okay now, buddy? All right. He got it in there. I couldn't keep, I was like trying to concentrate, but I was like, oh my goodness, my cat is in distress. Thank you for handling that, Johnny Million. I appreciate it greatly. But this seems to be there seems to be it's kind of like 2-track legal complaint on the right now, which is that when it operates as it's supposed to against what they would consider an opponent, like a drug smuggler or something like that, that is a sign of it being ineffective. And when they are treated like every other person that's incarcerated, that is an egregious overreach. These are the two parallels, that they are that they're selling things on while still selling the back the blue idea. It's mind-boggling. And again, I think this all goes to, as long as they assume that as long as nobody looks past, watching Tucker Carlson, if they go to sleep immediately after Tucker and do not go, lurking any non-cleared websites or just, fall asleep to 2,000 Mules again. This in and of itself is, I don't know how you do the back the blue thing and still complain that somehow how you guys are treated when you're treated exactly like everyone else, that this is, you're now political prisoners. This is not an administration, it's a regime. All that nonsense. It's that part of it is brutal. So also we're going to, at the top of the hour, Philip Ittner is, I believe, going to join us. When you look at the news that's going on in terms of Russia, the Biden administration, we know we sent this big $40 billion package that's both for resources for refugees and military arms. Another $1 billion was sent this week by the president using discretionary funds and basically signing an executive order. Most of this stuff, some of it has arrived already, very little of it, but the vast majority of the stuff from that large package of military aid will arrive in August. The expectation being that this is going to be an ongoing thing. There's no expectation that Russia is serious about any kind of peace deal, and has not been since the very beginning, and will not be going forward. They even said this week, interestingly enough, what we have been saying about making a deal with the Russians. The Russians on 60 Minutes, their little show that they do every night where they threaten the world with nuclear obliteration and call everybody who's helping Ukraine Nazis. In that show themselves, they made the exact same case for why they have no reason to make a peace deal with Ukraine. The purpose is seizing the entire territory, and all a peace negotiations would do is give them time to gain more military gear and reload, essentially, to repair things and resupply, and then move things into better tactical position. So basically, the Russians do the exact same thing Trump does, which is project as basically a confession.
Move, and it's so crazy that it continues to work.
Right. On a certain people. I do think it is running dry in this regard. I don't think it's not that it's falling on deaf ears. Definitely the hardcores on all fronts will believe what they want to believe. But a lot of it is, since it's not panning out materially, especially in so far as how Russia is doing in the Donbass currently, and in the southern part of the country, that it looks like there's going to be a genuine push towards Crimea, and by around August, and the Russians have no recourse to do this, to fight back against this. That it's harder and harder to BS people, and not so much the Russian people themselves, because they're not hearing anything but that. But anybody that might support them, like the Chinese or the Iranians or the North Koreans, who have their own problems as well, they're aware of these losses. They're aware that this is not going well. And that throws a monkey wrench in their entire plan, as far as Russia going, yes, this is, not only are we teeing up our win, but we support you in China going after Taiwan, Iran expanding into Iraq, Syria expanding its territory. We got your guys back. Well, those folks now are realizing Russia can't even cover their own ground. Which again kind of brings us, and we got to take a break, to the election this fall. And the idea that somehow there's going to be a ginormous red wave and Democrats are demoralized and don't care anymore. They voted for Biden and they hate everything that's happening. Thank you, Sierra Madre. The tubes are not showing me. All right, I will check that. We got to take a break. I'll check it during the break. This is the Hal Sparks Radio program, mega worldwide on WCPT Radio, Chicago's Progressive Talk. Chip, dude, seriously.
I think I see us live.
He already got trapped once.